it's Lisa from budgetequestrian.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make homemade Christmas ornaments in the shape of horses. These are the Christmas ornaments that turned out, and I'm super excited, and they're really easy, and now I'm going to show you how I did them. So there's only a couple of ingredients that you will need to make these ornaments. You will need sea salt or iodized salt, it doesn't matter. I've had really good results with the sea salt, that's why I use it. Warm water and all-purpose flour. And I actually mixed this all together with my stand mixer, but you can mix it by hand, but I found I've gotten better results by using my mixer. So once you've gathered your supplies, you're going to preheat your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Once your oven is preheating, this is when you're going to mix all of the ingredients. All you need is 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of salt, and about 3/4 to 1 cup of warm water. And this is the consistency that the ornament dough will, this is the consistency that you want the dough to be. You want it to be firm, but not too runny. Once you have it to a good consistency, then you're going to roll out the dough, and I'm using parchment paper because that helps to keep it so it doesn't stick to everything, including my countertops. Then I took some horse cookie cutters and dipped them in the flour, and then just started making some ornaments, and they kind of look like cookies. And what I did was I just kind of took some of the dough away from the ornament. That way it makes it easier to come out, and then you can just put it on a cookie sheet. The cookie sheet that I'm using to bake these on, it is ungreased. You don't need to grease the cookie sheet. For this recipe, it made about a dozen ornaments. You could probably make more. I just had a dozen that I put on this tray because I've been making these for a while now. So I just wanted to show you how I make my own homemade horse Christmas ornaments. But the dough works really well. You don't want to knead it a lot because if you knead it, it's going to get really stiff, and that's when it's going to crack more. So I just roll it out, dip my cookie cutter into some flour again, and then I just pick them up and put them on the cookie sheet. Now for something different, I wanted to try some round Christmas ornaments. So I just got glass, dipped it in flour, and then I have round Christmas ornaments. And like my Christmas ornament fail video that I showed you how I made the hooks that go inside of the ornaments while they're baking, this is what I did. I just got some paper clips and I stretched them out a little bit, and then I cut them with a wire cutter. This wire cutter that I have is stronger than the one that I had in the previous video, so this made really fast work of the paper clips, which makes it really nice if you're going to be doing a lot of ornaments, because if you have cheaper wire cutters, your hands are going to get really tired. So it's better to use a better quality tool in order to get a better quality end result. And one thing to keep in mind when you're making these hooks for your ornaments, make sure you don't drop any of those little metal pieces on the floor, because that would really hurt if you were to step on them. So once I have all my paper clip hooks ready to go, then I'm going to insert them into my ornaments. And I lifted them up a little bit because I didn't want the hook to get in the front, so you would be able to see it. And I also didn't want it to come out the back. I wanted to make sure it was about center of the ornament. And these ornaments that I made, they were probably about 1/2 inch in thickness. That seems to work the best, so the edges of the ornaments don't curl, and if it's too thick, you'll actually get cracking of the ornaments. So once I have them all ready to go, and then I'm just kind of resituating the ornaments to make sure the tails and the legs are where I want them to be, then I put them in the oven at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And these took about 45 minutes to cook. Sometimes I've seen they've taken less, sometimes longer. And when they're done, this is what they're going to look like. And it's kind of hard to see in this video clip, but the edges are really rough. So what I did was I went in the garage and I took my Dremel with a sanding bit on it. I just went around the edges of each individual ornament because I want to make sure that it looks perfect, and I didn't want the edges to be rough. I wanted them to be smooth. So it would look like a you know, a nice Christmas ornament, especially if I'm going to give these away as gifts and potentially sell them. I have sold some of these on my Etsy store as well as on eBay. So I want to make sure that they look really, really nice. And once I have them all sanded and I'm happy with how they look, then I just put them on a piece of plywood. And then I just set them on a piece of plywood that I had laying around in the garage. And I dusted them off to make sure that there's no like sanding dust or anything on them too. Then I grabbed some spray paint primer and I primed all of the front and backs of each of the ornaments. By putting the primer on first, then it's going to make it so that my finishing coat doesn't get absorbed unevenly by the ornaments. Once they're dry, then you just flip them over and you do the other side. And you don't need a huge thick coat of primer. It can just be a thin coat of primer. Once both sides are dry, then this is where it starts to get a little bit fun. You can pick whatever color you want the spray paint to be. You could also paint them by hand if you wanted to, but the spray paint goes a lot faster. That's why I chose to do this route. The white spray paint was a little more challenging, and it might be the type that I chose because I think it's Krylon, and that didn't work as good. The Rust-Oleum that I'm using on the purple and the blue horses, that works really well. So the next time I get the white spray paint, I will get the Rust-Oleum. So again, I'm just using the finishing coat. This is the main color of the ornaments. And once they're dry, I flip them over and paint the other side. Then once all of the ornaments have completely dried, then I bring them back inside my house, grab my little paint pen and start decorating them. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You can decorate them however you want, or you could choose to leave them plain. It's up to you. That's part of the fun about making your own homemade Christmas ornaments. You get to do what you want to do. So once I've done all of the painting and I'm happy with how my ornaments are looking, getting pretty creative. And I also chose to make some random horse stick figure type drawings on the round ornaments. I wanted to see what this would be like. So I used puffer paint and it worked pretty good. I was pretty happy with it. I'm not, an artist for drawing, but I thought, well, let's try and see if this works. And actually they turned out kind of cute. So I was happy with that. So once all of the paint has dried, then you're going to seal it. And I used Mod Podge sealer, and this is a high gloss sealer. This stuff is great. It dries really fast, and I just painted the front, and then once those were dried, then I painted the back side of each individual ornament. And again, allowing it to dry, and again, it dries super fast. Once the sealer has dried, then you get to add either a hook or some string so that you can hang up your ornaments. I chose to use the string because the Christmas tree that I'm hanging these on, it doesn't work really well with the hooks, and some of these ornaments can get kind of heavy. So I chose to use some gold cording that I found at Walmart for like 97 cents. And these are all of the ornaments that I have been making that have turned out that I have on my horse Christmas tree now. These are really fun and simple to make. Anyone can do this. I think you should try it, especially if you want a horse Christmas ornament. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again real soon.